You definitely have the jazz. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Empire 161 Show, Season 5, Episode 14. I kind of wish it was 13. That would really line everything up. But thanks for joining us, as always. If you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, or wherever you find your audio-only podcast, we always appreciate the support. Yep, we are excited. The Yanks had a trade deadline we got to talk about. We got some games to talk about here. I'll get a little bit of a different tone than if we would have been back last week. But, so be it. But I'm excited to talk about some Yankees baseball here. I'm Ed, and with me as always is Lisa. Lisa, what's up?
Hey, everybody. We have so many things to talk about, and this week it's good things. So I'm extra hyped today. Also, the Yankees played the Phillies, which means that they were in the presence of the great, the GOAT, the Philly fanatic. And if you don't know by now, I am obsessed with mascots. They make me so happy and overjoyed. So, and he is my second favorite mascot. My first is my college mascot. Of course, Beauty will always be my favorite. But he had a really fun interaction with Garrett Cole yesterday, one of these days. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to dive into that really quickly in a moment. We're going to talk about the Yankees trade deadline maneuvers. The biggest one being Jazz Chisholm Jr., in my opinion. And we'll talk about the series versus the Red Sox and the series versus the Phillies. So looking forward to diving into everything that happened this weekend.
Yeah, no, for sure. And listen, I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to completely gloss over what happened while we were off, because we haven't been on since just before the All-Star break. But just a couple of quick things of note here. Lisa did win our home run derby pool.
I
did. Even though I had Pete Alonso, because you were trying to call shenanigans on that.
Again.
I mean, it hasn't done me well too much. I mean, I'm pretty sure I only had him once when he won. The other two times he's lost. I think Jerry had him the other time that he won, and he was like begrudgingly cheering for him because Jerry.
Oh yes, you're right. You're right.
And I'm going to be honest.
You know who wasn't cheering for him though?
Oh.
Who hates Pete Alonso?
Oh, Paul really hates Pete Alonso. It's like an unhealthy level. I don't know what the hell that's about. I mean,
he must have done something bad to him.
I don't know. Maybe he walked past him in the street and bumped him or something, or I don't know. It had to be something super personal, because I just don't get it. I mean, hey, listen, the guy wants to win a home run derby. What do you want me to do?
Sure.
It's fine. I can kind of admire that. As far as the All-Star game goes, I mean, the uniforms were hideous. The game was cool. It's the AL won, but I mean, that was that. I mean, I know Jared Durant won the All-Star game MVP. Again, I mean, listen, I don't lock in for the entire every pitch with the All-Star game, but I usually like to have it on and and check it out here and there and stuff like that. Out of the All-Star games, professional league All-Star games, I mean, that's the only one I find watchable. I mean, as someone who does follow all four the North American major sports, I mean, the NFL basically threw in a towel on the Pro Bowl and turned it to some weird thing. I don't even know
event or whatever.
It's bizarre. No one gives a shit. The Super Bowl already happened. To me, it's season over already. Who cares? And actually, sorry, might take that back. That's when they used to have it. Now they've moved it to the off week between the Super Bowl and Championship Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I still don't give a shit. It doesn't matter when you put it. It's not going to matter. The NHL one is also garbage. It's like this 3-on-3 tournament that I don't care about. And the NBA one is actually the worst of all of them, because I don't even know what that is. That's not even a layup line. It's just people dribbling a basketball, just lightly jogging. I don't know. It's
yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad. So,
That's pretty
um, but other things that were bad though is the Yanks did have two series prior to these. Took a split against Tampa Bay. I get it's division series, but you got to beat up on Tampa Bay. They've literally tapped out this year, and then they got embarrassed by the Mets. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
no sugarcoating it. They lost a tight game on the Tuesday game.
I
In the
was there.
Wednesday game, yeah, and the Wednesday game, they didn't even show up. Like Cole
That
got
was a
lit up, and
terrible
it
game.
was a beating. Um, so I guess that's where we pick up, and I was pretty pissed. Like my cousin went with me to the Wednesday game. My cousin Mike, who's a Mets fan, shout out to him. Um, but like even during the game, like he's just honestly he's one of the reasons why I don't dislike the Mets themselves because I mean he'll just tell you kind of how it is. Like, and we were just talking baseball for out of it. He was even like, the Yanks got problems and stuff like that, and just the way that it was going, I reached like there was an off day after that when they were going before they went to Boston. I was so pissed. So like I was just like something has to happen, and it wasn't because they lost to the Mets or anything like that, or they got swept in the season series. That's honestly not it. Because as fun as the Subway Series is for us as fans, I still view them as they count just the same as every other thing. Actually, they count less than the division games. That's mostly like a fun thing, for us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's just it's just they picked up where they left off, like sloppy play,
Very.
uninspired, and I'm just like, you got to do something. Something has to be done. Like a trade needs to happen. Like I don't know. Like I don't even. I guess ask them to fire somebody in season, unlike when they fired the hitting coach. Was it last year? Which did
Yes.
virtually nothing. Right when we got Sean Casey in here temporarily. I mean, it didn't do anything. It didn't move the needle and everything like that, right? And I just realistically, they're not going to fire him. They're not. I mean, his contract's up after the season, so you cannot retain him. Technically, that's not actually firing him. It's a nice way to fire somebody, I guess. Know what I mean? Like, just no. I'm just saying, like, when a team is playing uninspired and they're making the same mistakes over and over and over again, you do start to question. Did the coach or manager lose the locker room? Like, are they just hearing white noise at them? And that's kind of where I'm like, maybe you just want a different voice in there. But none of that happened, except a trade did happen. Eventually a trade did happen, and the trade deadline was coming up, so we kind of would assume yes, a trade would happen. But I was talking in the lines of like really shaking up the locker room, like trading Gleyber Torres or something along those lines. Like if you can get a case of warm Gatorade for Gleyber Torres, I probably would have taken that, or like expired milk or something. Like I'm not even aiming high here. I'm just looking for something tangible.
So I have to say that when all was said and done, I was surprised to see Gleyber Torres.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if I would see DJ LeMahieu, but thank God that we did because he came out big in the last 2 days. And I was scared and then surprised and like kind of happy because I'm not sure anymore that Nestor Cortez was still on the team.
Yeah, so I guess I wasn't meaning to transition to, but screw it. Let's just discuss it. The trade deadline was 6:00 yesterday, and yeah, there were a lot of rumors. Right, the Yanks were in on Tanner Scott. They didn't get him. The Yanks were in on Jack Flaherty, which I guess we can talk about more in a second because that got a little bit complicated. I think that the areas of need that I felt going into the trade deadline was, and I'm pretty sure I've said this on previous episodes, we've talked about this, they needed 2 bullpen arms, preferably strikeout guys, and they needed a third baseman. I mean, just what it is. I mean,
Yep.
Speaking in reality, right? Like as much as I wanted Gleyber shipped out of here, chances are he was going nowhere, right? Like that just wasn't happening. And with Stanton returning on the horizon and Dominguez making an accelerated recovery, there's 2 bats that can come in and can get things going. But then they were also rumored around Jazz Chisholm Jr. from Miami, and I got to be honest, I was kind of lukewarm on it. Like looking into it, like I'm a little bit. I was a little bit familiar with him, and I know he played. He was a second baseman, moved to the outfield, and I also do know when Don Mattingly was the manager of the team, he had to talk to him on multiple occasions regarding like his attitude and stuff. And when I was reading stuff leading up to the trade happening, it was the Yankees were supposedly a little bit reportedly concerned. Reportedly, this could be BS or not about his attitude, whether it would fit in the clubhouse. And I thought that was interesting. And then when the trade went down, it's like, okay, I guess we're going there. We're going with it now. Left-handed bat, athletic, young, not making the big contract yet. Checks all the boxes for something like the Yanks
can play multiple positions, which
I'm saying, yeah. Which again, it's true, right? Like our guys that play multiple positions are like DJ LeMay, who play a bunch of infield positions, but who's like 36 years old now.
Yeah.
Like not as Girardi would say, which he did say in the game last night, by the way. It's not what you want.
Not what you want.
It's not what you want. And I was correct.
It's not what you want, Michael. Is that the new version of That's Baseball, Susan?
It could be. I mean, if Girardi hangs around and is on yes for a while, probably. I mean, as long as he doesn't go back into managing.
RotoWare, get ready.
Oh, I mean, I would have to do that. How could I pass up on that?
I know that's a good one.
But yeah, Lisa, I know you have more on Jazz here. As far as career numbers and stuff, we can talk about them a little bit more here. I mean, we won't be talking about
I don't have career. I just have the last week. But listen, he joined the team in a major way 4 times. So he had 4 home runs in 2 games, in 3 games, they said. His average for the last week was .368. He had 4 home runs, 8 RBIs, 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 walk. His on-base percentage is .400, and his slugging percentage is .1,000. I mean, yeah, Jazz, you fit right into the Yankees right now. Now, what I'm gonna say before I keep talking about him is that I hope he doesn't do what Alex Verdugo did, come in hot, and then just like peter off. I'm not surprised to hear that the Yankees were concerned about his demeanor, his personality, because I don't know if you noticed how talkative he was in the dugout. Whenever they would like pan to him, he clearly likes to like have attention in the dugout. I did see though, and I always appreciate this, that he was cheering for other players too, so that's a good sign. But he's 26, and I feel like, that's the energy of a 26-year-old who wasn't, a prospect of the Yankees. He didn't grow up as a Yankee. So I'm kind of not surprised about that. But what I found was cool is his name, which I texted to you the other day. I'm hoping I say this right. But his full name is Jazrado Prince Hermes, I'm assuming, Arrington Jazz Chisholm Jr., and he's from the Bahamas. I mean, you don't get a cooler name than that. Jazrado Prince Hermes Arrington Chisholm Jr. Come on.
It is a pretty cool name. It is a lot. It is probably like Giancarlo, Michael Cruz.
Giancarlo Cruz, Michael Stanton. Yeah, like he had like 4 names too.
It's a lot.
And then he went by Mike for a while.
He did. It was. I'm glad he went with Giancarlo though. Ultimately, because
me too.
Like,
that's way sexier, by the way. Way sexier. So like Giancarlo, he was on the Marlins, and here's a big deal thing. Both Derek Jeter and CC Sabathia vouched for Jazz Chisholm to become a Yankee. CC Sabathia actually said absolutely effing yes. Like he was so in on it.
Yeah, and I know when Jeter was in Miami, he did have a thing where I'm pretty sure he was the one who kind of like helped acquire Jazz for the Marlins here.
Yes.
So and it was a big thing. And then I know he wore number 2 because Derek Jeter was his favorite player growing up. Like we're in that era now where there's a lot of that going around. I mean, we've been there for a little bit. Even Troy Tulowitzki wore number 2 for Derek Jeter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let me go through his also. So his career numbers, he's got a 7.7 WAR. For those who are with that, he's a 248 career hitter. So not exactly jumping off the page, but not horrendous in this day and age. 311 on base percentage with a 758 OPS. Now I think that's the number that will probably stand out a bit more there. So maybe not the high batting average, but on base is okay, and the OPS is the one that kind of jumps out there. And over the course of 5 years, he currently has 70 home runs, and he's averaging 28 home runs over 162 game average. Okay, so you got to figure Marlins Park, not a great hitters park. Yankee Stadium for lefties specifically, definitely something. That is what you want. But like you mentioned with his attitude, though, like he does bring in energy, and maybe that is something that like the Yankees needed, another infusion of energy. Like we kind of got that early with Verdugo and Stroman to go along with Judge and Soto, and that was seen as a positive thing. There was barking, there were dogs, and all this other stuff. And then when shit went south, suddenly, the dogs got real quiet over a while. And we're being honest, that's kind of what happened. Like it got thing, and then they looked dull, they looked mundane. They needed another boost of energy, and it appears early on that they've got it. And another thing that has impressed me with him, though, is did you see the quotes from Gleyber Torres and from Jazz regarding the whole third base situation?
No.
Okay, so Gleyber Torres, who I am going to paraphrase this, but it's pretty damn near the quote. When asked about a potential move to third base, he said he's the second baseman. He said he plays second base. He played third base in the minors and didn't like it. Now, we also saw him on a major league level play shortstop not very well. So that's an interesting quote by Gleyber. And actually, I did hear 2 interviews of Brian Cashman, one on the Michael Kay show and then one on Tiki and Tierney, who were on. They both had him on today. And it was kind of back to back. And I was interested to hear both. He was asked about that on Tiki and Tierney. And I'm sorry, not Tiki and Tierney. That's the name of their old show. It was Sal Licata and Brian Tierney were filling in for Evan and Tiki on the Fan. So that's where I kind of got a little tongue-tied there for a second. So when asked about it, he was kind of like, he didn't totally kill him for it, but he also didn't really defend him that much either. So which I found interesting for Cashman, that he actually was like admitting that probably reads really poorly and that it didn't probably come out maybe necessarily the case. And he even said that his confidence, he's speaking from a place of confidence right now, is probably a little bit defensive. Be that as it may. Jazz Chisholm was asked about moving to third base because he's never played third base before. He said, I'm willing to play wherever they want me to in order to win. Which, ding, 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 that is the correct answer, Jazz. You're the winner here.
I was just about to say that. Listen, if you want to keep playing ball, you figure out how to play. Ask your friend Oswaldo.
Yep.
Ask your friend, who was his friend that got traded? Yankees. I can see his face.
Ronald Reyes?
No, he went to the Twins with Gary Sanchez.
Gio Urshela.
Yes, Gio Urshela, Oswaldo Cabrera. Like all of these guys are playing wherever you need them to play. Yep. Even our boy IKF. Like Gleyber, you're not that good. You are not. Aaron Judge can say that and he even moved.
He
He
even
was the
takes
Yankees
he's
right
been seen
fielder.
taking ground balls at first base.
Oh my God! So don't even tell me that you think you're better than the captain of the team, because
So
I hate to break it to you, you're not.
so that is the that is the current state of the two of their attitudes. And by the way, fun fact on Gleyber Torres, since he broke into the league, leads all MLB second basemen in errors. On top, not just this year, over the course of his career now. So, again, Mister, I'm in my walk here. I'm going to be a free agent. Probably not the best way to go about that and address that.
Not at all.
Maybe more infield work, less dyeing blonde of the hair, which I've noticed recently too. Maybe that's the way to go, because that really told me a lot between the two. Jazz is like, dude, wherever you need me, I understand the outfield is clogged on this team, right? Verdugo, Judge, Soto, they do have Grisham, who is a fourth outfielder. Jason Dominguez is on the horizon at some point. I would imagine we're going to see him. I know Aaron Boone, kind of would be a little bit non-committal about that, but there is, as we know, there's plenty of ways he can get called up right now. So I think it's a big telling thing here. And Jazz, not too bad in his first couple of games at third base. I'll tell you that. He's played.
I mean, he got tested immediately, first inning.
Yeah, and he's looked pretty good over there. And guess what? There's going to be growing pains. He's going to have some times where he's going to make mistakes. I'm sure that's going to happen. And he's not going to give up playing second. I'm sure he can move over to the outfield when need be. But that's the attitude that you want. That is what you want. And it's just, again, another strike against Gleyber Torres.
Yeah. So I want to say one more thing about Jazz Chisholm, because I texted you and I was like, I forgot what he said. I forgot what I said, but it had to do with, like, look at that little man. And I looked up how tall he is. He's actually 5'11", which is very tall to me. Like, that's above average, but and he's also very slim. He's very skinny. Yeah. He looks so tiny next to Aaron Judge, and he loves standing by Aaron Judge. Yes. So, but like the height difference makes him look like he's like Tom Cruise's height. He looks so tiny. I'm sorry, Chisholm, because I did make fun of your height until I realized how tall you are. My bad.
He's pretty lanky, also. For
very. Well, he's also 26, so that helps.
Yeah. So, listen. So I don't expect Jazz Chisholm to, continue on I don't think he's the next Ken Griffey Jr. or something like that, despite the some fans losing their minds over him wearing his hat backwards in batting practice and stuff like that. By the way, who gives a shit about that? I really couldn't possibly care less. I mean, Soto does it as well. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But no, he's. I mean, it seems like he's going to be a good fit for the team. He's going to be around for a few years at least. I mean, it's good. And guess what? Him also wearing number 13, trying to continue the quest to absolve this number.
Please do.
Is another good thing. Put it that way. Because he was wearing number 2, and obviously he knew that wasn't happening. So.
He can't wear that anymore. Also, he also interacted with the Philly Fanatic, which is also endears him in my heart. So,
but the other 2 players that the Yanks did pick up was one was Mark Leiter Jr. From the Cubs here, who does definitely fit the bill of a high strikeout guy out of the bullpen. His father and his uncle Al also both played for the Yankees previously. So that's a pretty cool thing that is here as well. So he's also been thrown into the fire very early.
Yeah.
He pitched 2 games in a row. He's been on the team for 2 games.
He did.
He has definitely gotten there right away. So that's also a welcome sight. And Eniel De Los Santos is also the other reliever that the Yankees did pick up from the Padres. And he is not his ERA is not great this year. It's a 4.46. and a 129 whip. But if you look at his years in Cleveland, he had a 329 ERA with a 114 whip, 304, 107 whip. So, I mean, and that's in 50 games and 70 games, respectively. Uh, in 22, he had 61 strikeouts. Um, and then he had 62 strikeouts just last year. So over the course of 65 innings and 53 innings, so I think he would definitely fit the bill of, and he's got 48 strikeouts and 40 in the third innings here. So he has not been seen yet on the mound for the Yankees, but I'm sure that will be happening in short order. So it wasn't Tanner Scott who went to the Padres for a boatload of prospects, and I think the Yankees did okay at the deadline. I'm not going to say they like crushed it. I mean, if Jazz Chisholm turns out to be like, a an all-star or something like that, or a superstar type player, of course, then that elevates their trade deadline. Um, but I think they did pretty good. I mean, he addressed a lot of the areas of need that I thought going into it. I mean, adding Jack Flaherty would have been nice from the Tigers, who ended up going to the Dodgers, but apparently the Yankees were concerned about the medical that popped up for him.
Yep.
And he had some back issues that caused him to miss a start a few weeks ago. So if your medical staff is telling you that they're concerned, then I think you should heed the warning, because you didn't when you got Frankie Montas, and we saw how that worked out.
Yep.
So hopefully they're learning from that. I would hope, at least. So there really also were no like superstars traded at the deadline anyway. I know people were floating around Garrett Crochet and Skubal, and they were talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and like none of them.
They were talking about him big time, especially with the haircut.
Yeah, none of them went anywhere. So there really wasn't any like blockbuster deals done at the deadline. But I mean, all right. So the Yankees hold on to Spencer Jones. Hopefully not prospect hugging. I will state this again, and I'm sure when we do our postseason wrap up, whatever, hopefully it ends in a positive way. We shall see. We got a long time
We're
to go.
doing that in November.
Yeah, hopefully sometime in mid-November that happens. But I will state though, if they resign Juan Soto, which I'm pretty confident they will, it just seems a little crazy to me that they won't.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like that's why they want to hold on to Spencer Jones, because he's kind of Soto insurance. Because I don't see Verdugo on this team next year like at all. I think he was just a bridge in the gap. I think then you got to move on from Spencer Jones, to be completely honest with you. Then you need to trade him for something big time.
Yeah.
Because I would have traded him before the season, to be completely honest with you. When he was rumored to be in a deal for blah 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 blah. Shit, why is my drawing a blank here? Corbin Burns, that went to the Orioles. Like, I wanted Corbin Burns badly, and supposedly the Yanks could have got him for Spencer Jones and maybe a couple other dudes. I would have done that. To have Garrett Cole and Corbin Burns at the top of your rotation, and then if we still would have got Heel, I mean, actually, Heel probably doesn't. That's interesting. That's kind of like one of those what ifs, right? Like,
yeah,
if you get that, then maybe we don't have Heel, and then who knows? Maybe he's floundering in the minors or something like that, and this never ends up happening. So, I don't know. What did you think of the deadline? I mean, did you think you were expecting more? Were you? I mean,
no, I've come to realize that there's so much talk, and then the Yankees almost never do anything big, or like not in a while during the trade deadline. So I wasn't expecting anything crazy. I knew Jazz Chisholm's name, but I didn't know like much about him. I like the energy that he started off with. He already is in the Yankees history books.
Sure is.
So, I mean, we'll get to that when it happens, but that's pretty cool. And, we've talked about this many times over the podcast. I like when a player brings energy to the team. Mm-hmm. So I like his energy with Juan Soto. I like the pairing with Juan Soto's energy. Aaron Judge, he seems to be picking Aaron Judge's brain as much as he possibly can. I like that a lot. So do I expect him to, maintain this energy? Absolutely not. But I think that he will not let the bright lights of New York City freak him out. If anything, he might thrive under it. So I think that's really important because you do have to have a certain fortitude to be able to hang in the New York market, whether it's any of the New York teams of any sport. You have to be able to hang because fans come at you. The writers come at you, the media comes at you, like, and they come at you hard.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's gonna get too shook up by that. So it's exciting, and I always love a utility player too. Glaber. I can't believe he said that. Like, he's got nerve and balls to say that.
To say he's got cojones to be saying something like that, because that is, it just, again, it rings to me that he just does not read the room. Like, he really is in another planet. Like, he's just not, like, he has no idea what his standing is. And hey, maybe the guys in the clubhouse love him. I'm sure they do. Maybe he's a super nice guy with them. I'm sure he has friends on the team. But come on, dude. Like, you got to get a clue.
You know how they do, I don't know if you ever look at them, the question of the day?
I'm going to say no.
So anytime the Yankees are like going into the clubhouse, they'll hold, like, you can't see what the question is, but they'll
the little microphone and thing.
And like each one of them has to read it as they're walking like into the like walking in for practice, like in their regular clothes. So recently, the question of the day was something along the lines of if you're ever in trouble, who on the team would you call? And like a good 75% of them were like Aaron Judge, the captain. Like he's reliable. He's got the keys to the city. He knows people. He'd be able to help us. But a couple of guys said Gleyber Torres, but not for what you would think. They said because he's always on his phone.
Wow. So he would answer. Good job, Gleyber.
He would answer the call. Those questions of the day are really funny though, and I love that they do that. Today's was, what Olympic sport would you play if you could? And some of their answers are really funny. The funniest person every time is Luke Weaver because he gives you a freaking essay every question. Like everybody else says their answer as they're walking by, and he stops and he'll be like, and then it's almost like Garrett Cole personality with it.
Okay.
Like, remember the time when Garrett Cole did the Nestor Cortez pitch thing?
Yes.
You saw that one. You saw that one. So Luke Weaver's like that. Like, he will sit. They'll be filming him the longest. He takes like a minute to answer every question when everybody else is like 5 seconds.
I'm gonna start looking out for this then. I feel like I may have like browsed some of these videos and not really like give it the time it maybe deserves. It sounds like it does deserve the time now. So.
I will say it's very foul territory-esque.
Okay, all right. Now you piqued my interest. Okay.
Yes. Yes. See their personalities, and it's pretty funny.
All right. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, for the trade deadline. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, listen, Chisholm's been an all-star. He's not just like random bench utility dude. He's just starter, dude who's become utility, and we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll be the next great Yankee third baseman. I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm guessing that's where the majority of his at-bats are going to come from at the moment. So.
And I think we have him for 3 years, right?
Yeah, they got him under control. So, we'll see. All right, so that takes us. Let's get to some on-the-field baseball then, too. So, take us back to that Friday night game, which I'm going to tell you the truth was probably in the category of one of the worst losses of the season, if I'm being completely honest, when the Yanks dropped this one by a final of 9-7.
Yeah.
Nestor Cortez took a no decision, 4 2/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Aaron Judge was 1 for 4 with his 36th home run of the season, 3 RBIs, a walk, and a run scored. Gleyber Torres was 3 for 5 in this game, so did have himself a nice night at the plate. Austin Wells, 3 for 5. As well, but he had his 8th home run of the season. Anthony Volpe, 2 for 5, with also his 8th home run of the season, and 2 runs scored as well. So This is the one where the Yanks were down, rallied. Judge hits a mammoth home run to center field. Angie's trying to call me right now. That is not going to work. Trying to decline. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead. If you need to answer that, I have a quick stat, so you can answer it.
No, I'm sure she's fine. Watch something will go off. It turn out to be some, hopefully not a crazy thing. But no, he goes at the Yanks it was a feel good game. Yanks came back against the Red Sox after the whole debacle against the Mets, and and I go into this game with a foul mood because of what happened and a bad taste in your mouth, and then they cough up the fucking lead late, and I was just I don't know. I remember just like staring at the TV a lot after the game, and just like I don't know what to say. Like,
you know what that makes me think of, right?
Scanners or something?
No, it makes me think of, when you said staring at the TV, it makes me think of Brett Gardner sitting on the bench in his uniform.
Oh, wow. I thought we were going to go like really dark. I thought it was going to be like Poltergeist or something like that.
No.
Yeah, no, this was a tough one. I was just like so dejected, and just this and remember the trade didn't happen yet.
Nope.
Chisholm trade didn't happen yet. I'm like, all right, what is it going to take? Something's got to give here. Like, where is the players only meeting? Where is something? Somebody flips over a table. Something happens here. And I mean, I didn't see anything reported about that, but the next day would lead to something different. So, what do you have on this game, Lisa?
So, I mean, you referenced it. Aaron Judge's home run was 473 feet, and it's the fourth longest hit at Fenway Park since StatCast tracking became available, which was in 2015. So, that was, I mean, I remember I heard Michael Kay and I think it was Joe Girardi, and they were like, he was like, or maybe it was David Cohn. He was like, I don't even know what to say. Like he was literally speechless for a hot second. Like, what do you say after that? There's nothing to say. He damn near hit it out the park.
Yeah, I mean, it went past the center field scoreboard and everything like that. Yep. So it was a mammoth shot. And I remember and I was watching highlights later on, because usually I'll like watch Quick Pitch on MLB Network or something like that, like or Sports Center at night or something like that while I'm falling asleep. And they were referencing, I'm like, wow, that's when it was fun. Until it wasn't. Until the end of the game happened here. Where, I mean, it was Clay Holmes. Again.
And that wasn't the only game that we're going to be referencing Clay Holmes.
No. And that was something why I wanted Tanner Scott at the trade deadline, because I wanted another closer, but
yep.
This is what it is. We gotta roll with them now. So though Saturday came along, and the Yanks did get some good news earlier that day with the trade of Jazz Chisholm Jr. and rallied past the Red Sox for an 11-8 win. This was a wild back and forth game that went extra innings. It was completely nuts. Marcus Stroman took a no decision. Not great. 3 1/3, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Clay Holmes did end up getting the win in this game, and he was 2-4 now on the season. Aaron Judge, though, 4 for 4, his 37th home run of the season, 3 RBIs, another double, 3 runs scored, 2 walks. Juan Soto, 2 for 5 with his 27th home run of the season, a walk and 2 runs scored. Alex Verdugo, who was moved into the leadoff spot for this series, has started to look like he's showing signs of life here. 3 for 6, 3 runs scored, and a double. And yeah, the trade was announced, and you kind of felt like it was almost like an instant jolt of energy here, with the Yankees here. So that was something, and the question was, would he be in the lineup for Sunday Night Baseball? So do you got anything further on Saturday night's one?
I do. In the top of the 8th, when Aaron Judge got his RBI double, that was his 6th time reaching base in a game, and that was the first time in his career that he's done that. and he had 4 hits for the 10th time in his career.
It's just, man.
And the last person to reach base 6 times in a game for the Yankees, do you know who that was?
Jeter?
No.
I'm staying on 5 for 5 for that. So, was it Judge previously too?
No, that was his first time doing
Oh,
it.
sorry, that was his first time. Go ahead.
I'll give you one last hint. After Jeter.
After Jeter.
I think.
Wow, so
Yeah.
Didi?
Yep.
Wow. Didi, you know what sucks? Didi is probably going to end up kind of being somewhat forgotten.
I love
like over his.
Gregorius.
No, listen, he did a great job. Like he was asked to do a lot, like follow Derek Jeter and stuff like that.
I feel like he was beloved too, because it's very hard to replace Derek Jeter.
Yeah, but he also played in that weird time where it was the Carlos Beltran, Brian McCann, Jacoby Ellsbury era of the Yankees, where it was just it was a couple of years in between, like the core 4 and Judge's era, which we'll say that was his era. I mean, technically started. I'm going to say it officially started in late 2016, but really 2017 in his official rookie season is kind of when I think the Judge era, you could say, really started.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't say the Derek Jeter era started in 1995. It really, started. In
no, it was 96.
Yeah, technically yes, but wow. Okay, Didi in the record book, so he will maybe not be forgotten about it.
Mm-hmm.
But Yanks would take the series on Sunday Night Baseball by a final of 8-2. This mostly a pretty relaxing game, which was nice to have. Carlos Rodon got his 11th win of the season. His record now 11-7. He went 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. He looked pretty damn good. You say he pitched well, by his best outing in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Verdugo was 2 for 5 with 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. Austin Wells 2 for 4 with a double and RBI, 2 runs scored. Gleyber Torres 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. And Oswaldo Cabrera was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a walk. So notice none of the no Judge, no Soto, no home runs, and they won. And they scored 8 runs.
And that was Jazz Chisholm's first game, right?
Yes.
And he got a single in the 9th, and then freak accident at second base, and then heads up base running 5 seconds later.
Yeah.
I was really impressed because did you see how hard he got hit?
No, he did. He got clocked, and I actually wondered if I wondered where he had gotten hit, and it looks like he took like a shoulder.
It looks like either shoulder or elbow into his jaw. Yeah.
He got hit pretty damn hard.
Yeah. And I think it was the first baseman covering, and he immediately looked back. Like he knew he hit him, but not on purpose. He knew he hit him and immediately looked back at him. But then he saw that nobody was covering third and just took off for third. I love that.
Somewhat Johnny Damon-esque in the 2009 World Series.
Love it. Love it.
Which was on my mind because they just played in Philly, and Joe Girardi brought it up on the telecast last night. All right, so the Yanks would go ahead and take a series, but then would roll into the team with the best record in baseball in the Philadelphia Phillies, and made it look pretty damn easy, I would say, especially on Monday night.
Game one looked really easy.
Game 1 looked very easy by a final of 14-4. They really beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, they did.
And kudos, the Yanks are beating up on Zach Wheeler, one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball. Well, is it raining over by you? Sounds like it's coming down.
I can hear it with you, but I don't hear it over here.
Yes, that's the AC getting the rain over here. Luis Gil did take the start in this game, picking up his 11th win of the season. He's now 11-5, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks. Aaron Judge, 2 for 5 with 2 more homers, putting him up to 39 on the season. 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Juan Soto, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and 2 doubles. Jazz Chisholm, 2 for 4 with 2 home runs, giving him 15 on the season. 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored and a walk. Ben Rice, 2 for 3 with his 7th home run of the season. 2 runs scored. Anthony Volpe, 2 for 4 with a home run, his 9th of the year. 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. So 2 easy wins for the Yankees, which we haven't gotten in a minute here, if we're being completely honest. I know with the Rays series, there was, a couple. There was a trade-off of beatdowns that were going on. That was a little while ago now. But it's been a minute.
So a couple of things about this game. One is that Jazz Chisholm Jr., one of the things I thought was cute is after his second home run, he held up Aaron Judge's bat and he was like, and then they interviewed him after the game and he was like, yeah, my bats hadn't arrived yet, so I had to borrow a bat. I asked him if I could. And he's like, that thing is heavy. I'll never use that again.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it is.
It probably weighs as much as him.
Yeah, no,
but the other thing about that is in the top of the 7th, when Aaron Judge has hit his second home run of the game, which was his 39th home run, and he got his 99th RBI, which is freaking crazy. Mm-hmm. That was his 10th multi-home run game since the start of 2023. And that's the most in major leagues. And I'm sure we're going to talk in a little while about what else he's the most in. P.S. It's everything. But do you know who's number 2 with 9 multi-hit home run games?
Gunnar Henderson?
Who?
Gunnar Henderson?
No.
No, not Pete Alonso.
Nope. It's his teammate.
Oh, is it Juan Soto?
Yes, he has 9.
Wow. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't have guessed that one. Wow. All right. Rick is out of his mind. He just texts me random softball stuff he does on the night when he's saying he's the best pitcher in St. Pete. Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, so the Yankees would go ahead and take the second game of the series by a final of 7-6, which honestly may or may not be the game of the year, to be completely honest with you. This was a lot.
This was a very stressful game. Because I was texting you like, I can't.
Yes, and I mean, let's go. The way it's gone this season after 2 easy wins, I guess it couldn't have lasted that long. But, hey, Yanks get to win in 12. Some pregame weirdness went on. So Garrett Cole was scratched just before, a couple hours before, with general body soreness. And when I read that, I'm like, oh, God.
I didn't hear soreness. I heard fatigue.
Oh, sorry. General body fatigue. No, you're right. And I'm like, all right, so what is this? What is this code for? Because is his elbow acting up? It's his shoulder. I'm sorry. I don't trust the Yankees when it comes to injuries anymore.
Never.
Whatever they say, if they tell somebody has a sprained ankle, I might think that their arm might be missing. Like, it's gotten to that point. So I was just like, oh, God, please don't tell me his elbow's acting up again, and here we go. But then later on, they kind of casually mentioned he's been dealing with a stomach virus for days. And I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of understand it now.
This was really weird because I was watching the game on delay because I was doing other stuff, so I was pausing it when I had to focus on something else. So I didn't, between when they first said that he wasn't starting and then the actual reason seemed like a really long time for me. So I remember texting you and being like, what happened to Garrett Cole? And you were like, general body fatigue. And I wanted to be like, what does that mean? Because I have general body fatigue too, but I'm sure that's because I'm older than Garrett Cole. But then they said after that he had stomach virus, and I was like, and you had said it before they announced it for me, and I was like, oh, and then you even wrote this, lead with that. Okay, he's got a stomach virus. I get it. He should be out of the game.
Well, I'm just saying, anyone who's had a stomach virus, you've most likely had it for days. And we both
And you
know.
do have general body fatigue.
Yes, it kicks the shit out of you. I'm sure Cole, I mean, I'm not going to get too graphic with this, but whatever. He was probably puking his guts out and shitting his brains like
Correct.
for days.
Correct.
And it's just
Correct.
what it is. We've all been there. So just lead with that. Like, hey, listen, the dude's been dealing with a stomach virus, right? He needs a day or two, and that's it. And that's what they're going to give him, and that's cool. It's not a big deal. But when you come up with something stupid with general body fatigue, I mean, it sounds insane, and that's where a lot of people's minds went like, "Oh God, I wonder what's really wrong with him." And
that's like saying pinky toe cramp. Like, shut up.
Yeah,
Stop.
it's just. Meanwhile, it's like, I don't know, he banged his foot or something. I don't know, like something like that. And it just makes it sound insane. Well, though, and when I heard Will Warren was making his MLB debut, who's the Yanks seventh ranked prospect, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Okay, I would like to see this.
Big game.
Big game as well. But he took a no decision in his debut. Now, we can read the line 5 1/3, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. Nothing to write home about. But if you watch the game, he kind of just made one mistake, to be completely honest with you, in the second inning. That led to a 3-run homer that made his stat line look a lot worse than it really was. I mean, he was leaving some breaking balls over the plate. I'm not going to say he wasn't. But
This is his first game.
No. I'm just saying, if we're breaking it down,
yeah,
that's
and
what I noticed.
Got Bryce Harper, like, and
he's got some nasty shit, and I'm going to tell you, I want to see more of him.
Yeah,
I would like to see that.
They commented. They said now that he's got first game jitters out, like they think he's going to be even more impressive his next start if he gets a next,
No, absolutely, and we've talked about it, right? Like, Luis Heel, they still keep insisting there's no innings limit. I'm still not buying that at all, just by doing basic math. Like, it just doesn't work like that. So he could be a guy who helps out in the bullpen eventually, but he seems to have righted the ship. So I don't know. That's going to be a tough call. I mean, Nestor.
He was adamant. He said in his post-game interview, "I'm fine."
Yeah, which is, I don't know. Again, they're not going to let him throw 200 innings. They're just not. It's not realistic. So, and if they do, I would be shocked.
Yeah,
I would be shocked that the Yankees let him increase by about 110 innings.
I mean, this is the same team that the day after Giancarlo Stanton gets back from his IL stint, they sit him.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that happened in this game too. Like, What? Is he back or is he not back? He played today, picked up a couple of hits, looked fine to me. I mean, oh God, it's just with the way that they handle some of their players over the last couple, it drives me nuts. But on top of this game, though, Michael Tonkin, listen, he showed a lot, because he went 2 innings and he did get the win in this game. In extra innings, his record's now 4-4. Aaron Judge 3 for 4, 2 walks, a run scored. Jazz Chisholm Jr., but this is really his game, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I mean, he was 3 for 6 with 2 home runs, giving him 17 on the year, 5 RBIs, 2 runs scored. So he's the one who hit the 3-run homer to give them the lead. I'm sorry, he hit one early to get them back into it. His second home run gave them the lead.
Yep.
Before the fiasco happened in the 9th inning with Clay Holmes. But I will say this, though. Holmes did spike a curveball, and that allowed the tying run to score. I'm not sugarcoating that, whatever. And I'm also not going to lean on the soft contact shit, because there was some bullshit hits that were like dribblers that were leaking in and stuff like that.
Yeah, there were.
But you're the closer, and I get it. And that's the thing. When you want this blown save right here encapsulates what my issue with Holmes as the closer is. You want a guy who's a big swing and miss guy, who's a big strikeout guy. Holmes is a good reliever. He's just not. He doesn't have that to him. I mean, when he's got his A stuff, he can look like it at times, but it's just really not his game. And this is the kind of shit that happens, though. So that was my issue here. And I will say, kudos to Gleyber Torres, though, because there was a ball that was hit
That
off DJ
play.
LeMahieu that
Oh
he
my
stayed
God.
with it. He actually stayed with it, though, and threw it to the bag to Holmes covering.
I mean, that's one of the plays that I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
Like hypervent. And there was another one in the bottom of the 12th with Trent Grisham as well.
Trent Grisham made a phenomenal catch to save the game as well. I mean, this game really had everything you could want in it. I know it was stressful. I know there was some mind-numbing plays that happened during it, but it was really exciting. It was one of the most exciting games of the entire season.
I mean, I would argue the series was pretty well. The games 2 and 3 were very exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
game 1 was a blowout, but
yeah, I'm not going to give back game 1, but I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, like no, it wasn't edge of the seat. Like this afternoon was some more edge of your seat, even though the Yanks were in control of it. Though, I guess let's flip the page to that. The Yanks did complete the sweep of the Phillies, though, by a final of 6-5. Nestor Cortez Jr. got his first road win of the season.
crazy.
I know, right? He pushes records of 5-9, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Clay Holmes did pick up the save, and I'll talk about that more in detail in a second. His 22nd of the season. The story of this game offensively, though, was if you had DJ LeMahieu getting a career high 6 RBIs in the same game in your bingo card.
Not for this year.
Yes. This isn't 2019 or 2020. I'm talking about in 2024. If you had that, good for you, because DJ was 2 for 4 with his second home run of the season. That being a grand slam, we gave the Yanks a 4-0 lead early. He would get a 2-run double the other way into the right center field gap. He drove in all 6 runs. I mean, he was the Yankees offense. The only other person notable, which I mentioned, was Giancarlo Stanton, who is not dead after playing 1 game. He was 2 for 4 with a run scored. But to talk about Clay Holmes for a second, the leadoff man gets on, and Kyle Schwarber, and he hung a breaking ball to Austin Hayes, who just missed it. A game-winning home run, and flew out to the warning track to Alex Verdugo. And I'm also convinced that any fly ball hits a left field in Philly, I think might be going out now. It's ridiculous. And yes, I understand the Yankees in right field, similar situation here, but I swear every fly ball looked like it was going out. The entire series. It was nuts. Oh no, but Holmes ended up getting Bryce Harper to bang into a game-ending double play here. So, which you had to clinch also because Gleyber Torres was involved in this game-ending double play.
Oh my God!
So yeah, just hope he didn't randomly airmail it into the stands or something like that, or God knows what. But Yanks picked up another. I mean, you get the series sweep, taking 5 out of your last 6. I mean, I don't want to necessarily go with the John Wick quote, where he's like, "Yeah, everyone keeps asking me if I'm back. I think I'm back." Let's see what happens this weekend with the Blue Jays.
John Wick. I hated the way 4 ended.
Well, I know they were already talking about a 5th. I know they're 4 ended as well.
That's insane. No 5th. Yeah. It's not called John Wick anymore. That's it. So I have to mention this because I'm obsessed with the Philly Fanatic. So Garrett Cole, I think it was before today's game, as the Fanatic was teasing the Yankees in front of their dugout, he threw a ball out on the field and he asked the Fanatic to sign it. The Fanatic wrote on the ball, "No, go Phillies."
I saw that. I did see that.
love that. I love that so much. I want to meet the Fanatic. I really do. That might be my new baseball goal of my life because I already went to a Yankees World Series game that they won. Okay. I need to see the Philly Fanatic and meet him. I might cry. That's how much I love him.
Maybe in 2 years when the Yanks are in Philly again.
I know. I should have gone this year, and I could have because I was in Baltimore. I went to the Orioles game. I forgot to see that. Oh,
nice. How did you like Hampton Yards?
Oh, I've been there before. I think it's one of the most beautiful fields. It really and I was thinking about it, and I went with a good friend of mine, and we were talking about the field, and I think what makes it really cool is that it's just the field, right? their offices are in that building on the other side of Utah Street, right?
Mhm.
So it's just the field. Like it's cool like that. And it's an old school feeling field. It's very pretty. Thank God we were in the shade because it was very high. It was a gorgeous day in Baltimore. It was a gorgeous weekend in Baltimore.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was really pretty. And had I thought about it, I should have just taken another day off and gone to the first Phillies game on my way home.
You should have.
The Phillies
You
Yankees
would
game. And that would have been the blowout.
You would have got the blowout game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Citizens Bank Park is I like it too. It's actually it's another
Citizens
nice
Bank Park is really pretty. I went there 2 years ago.
Yeah, I've been there a few times for. I've actually seen. I saw hockey there. As well, I saw Rangers Flyers there.
At Citizens Bank, not across the street.
No, they actually did Citizens Bank.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the layout of all of their major sports teams.
Oh yeah, they're all like in
one
their
area.
own little venue. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Actually, the only one I haven't gone into was the Wells Fargo Center because I went for Giants Eagles playoffs a couple of years ago. So I've been to the Link and Citizens Bank. I went to one of the games in the Game 5 in the '09 World Series. I went before that. I think it was actually the first time the Yankees did play in Citizens Bank, and I also went there for hockey for the Winter Classic in 2012, where the Rangers played the Flyers. And Angie and I took a random ride down there to see Cardinals Phillies because Courtney wanted to go there before she moved back down to Florida. So it was also that. So I've been there quite a few times now. But it's a 2-hour drive. I would go anytime.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, by the way, stat about Jazz Chisholm Jr., first Yankee in history to homer 4 times in his first 3 games, and only the second player in Major League history to do so.
Yeah. So, Trevor Story was the other.
Yeah, he's off to a pretty damn nice start. I will say, not that we have reiterated that.
Are we gonna also name that Juan Soto lost the ball in the sun and Aaron Judge had to catch it?
Yeah, there was that. There was also an interesting play in center field today where Judge, I thought he was going to get to this ball in the right center field gap, but he did kind of pull up on about the wall. Like I just don't think he knew where he was relative to the wall.
Listen. Aaron Judge and outfield walls.
Yes.
Like I want him to be careful every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. If it's not like the game on the line or something like that or whatever, like
fine.
Yeah, I don't need you banging your foot, big man, into the wall again. So
please.
All right, so I guess that takes us to our awards of the week. This should be interesting.
I think we both have the same top of the heap. Come on.
Okay. Lisa? Who is your top of the heap hitter of the week?
Listen, there are a couple of people that you could name, but the most obvious. What? Say it again.
So there are candidates, but
there are candidates. There are candidates, but I mean, come on. Unless you're welcoming Jazz Chisholm to the Yankees, it should only be Aaron Judge.
Yes, and I mean, you know what's crazy, Lisa, is that he does these crazy things, and I try to make sure that I truly take it in because it's almost expected at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs today, and one was like 580 feet, and you're like, that's cool. Meanwhile, you're like, that's ridiculous. Like,
it's insane. So I'm not gonna read his stats for the week. I'm gonna tell you, and I didn't write the actual numbers. He's in first place in the major leagues, not in the American League, in the major leagues. He is in first place for average on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, home runs, RBIs, and runs.
Pretty good.
Like, it boggles the mind. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's something, it's really, really special. And who knows if we'll see this again in our lifetimes, how crazy talented a player is.
You know, it's funny. JB texted me earlier today, asking me who's a better baseball player, Aaron Judge or Derek Jeter. Now I'm going to preface it by saying this. Aaron Judge, it's a much smaller sample size, but if he continues with a mostly healthy career, knock on wood, that he can avoid these completely insane freak injuries,
it's him.
I will say Aaron Judge. I will. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, listen, Derek Jeter is one of my all-time favorite players.
Absolutely.
Legend. Debatably the best, greatest shortstop in history overall. I'm not saying he was greatest defensively only. Like, that would be nuts. I fully acknowledge that. But these guys also do hit as well. And offensively, pretty damn impressive career. And before someone like Cliff would jump in and scream about A-Rod, A-Rod is null and void. That's what happens when you get caught juicing.
Yep.
I don't care what you were doing. It doesn't matter.
And he's just an overall a-hole. Like, God,
yeah, it helps.
No,
I'm just saying, like, there are many great shortstops, but it was mostly a defensive position. But Derek Jeter, I mean, he has over 3,000 hits. I mean, he holds tons of, all-time records. So but I'm going to say is that, I mean, Aaron Judge is completely ridiculous. Like, he is uber talented. And at 6'7", I mean, he's a 5-tool player. Again, just all he got to do is just stay on the field, and he's an absolute monster. So
not only that, I'm gonna up it with like the intangibles, right? So they both, are known to be pretty nice guys.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Aaron Judge has the edge on that. Aaron Judge is doing this in a very digital, no privacy age. Derek Jeter had the privacy buffer of Twitter wasn't a thing. Instagram wasn't really a thing. Like, Derek Jeter got to do things that Aaron Judge, if he was so inclined, can't really do. Aaron Judge is also a married man now, and Derek Jeter was never married during his career. There might be differences with that. Aaron Judge is very, like he says that faith is really big for him. Like, there's differences there, but I think those intangible things too also give him an edge over Derek Jeter overall, because he has to live in such, like, he's constantly being filmed, and just his presence, like, he is huge. He literally cannot hide. Like,
yeah.
He can't just walk down the street. You'll know it's him. Even if he has on like some kind of disguise, you're gonna know it's him because he's 6'7". And he just seems like you're like every day really, like, he seems like you could walk up to him on the street and he'd be like, "Hey, what's up?"
He seems very approachable. Now,
Yeah.
Again, speaking to someone who has met Derek Jeter twice and not in like an organized function,
Right.
like just randomly, "Hey, what's up?" One of them being in Baltimore in a Best Buy. But it's funny though, because even in that situation, when I spotted Jorge Posada first before Derek Jeter, it was because of the ears. I'm not gonna lie, that's what stuck out. So, no, but like again, the two times I met Derek Jeter, it was at two very different points in my life too. One of them, I mean, the first time when I was 16 years old. I mean, he was super nice and went out of his way and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Aaron Judge seems like a super cool shell dude too, like an approachable person. So,
But I like that you could see his personality now, whereas Derek Jeter, we kind of had to wait a little while to see it. Like,
well, I do think, yes, you're right. Jeter kept himself guarded, by design, which I'm going to be honest, I do respect that. But I also do think Judge in some ways is similar. In some ways,
he is, but it's not as like with Derek Jeter. It's like you knew, like you don't know much. I know he's married. I like if his wife was walking down the street a block in front of him, I wouldn't know it was his wife. No. You know what I mean? Like they keep their married life very private. He keeps his family, like I know he has his parents who adopted him when he was 2 days old. I think he has a brother. I don't even know if he has a brother or not. Like Like, there's very little you know about his family life. You know, he has 2 dogs that he freaking loves, and they hang out with Anthony Rizzo's dog. Like, you know, things like that about him. But I don't know. I feel like in some instances that's more than you know about Derek Jeter while he was a player. Like, and you see his personality more because there's multiple opportunities for him to be interviewed or do things in ways that Derek Jeter hasn't. Now, the one thing Aaron Judge has to do that Derek Jeter did was go on SNL.
I can see that. I can definitely see that happening.
I really want him to do that.
Yeah, I would imagine that's only a matter of time.
Oh my god, I can't wait for that.
Before that happens. Yeah. I don't know. They're also 2 very different players. One is more of like, line drive hitter, infield, stuff like that, inside out pitches. One's a power hitter and stuff. So they are drastically different.
Absolutely.
We'll see though, because I will say I still say Judge has to finish the career. Like, he has to continue at this, on his pace and continue dominating for many years to come. Because if he decided to retire tomorrow, I would say, hey, listen, for a short period of time, yes, but overall, that does mean something. Longevity means something. Then I would say no.
Yep, and he has to win a championship.
I know. I'm not saying. Listen, my favorite player is Don Mattingly, who did not win a World Series. But I think that in a team sport, you do need to. I'm talking about individual accolades. Like, no single baseball player has won a World Series by themselves with no help.
Sure. I mean, Alex Rodriguez would say differently, but
I don't know. That dude. No, I can say a lot of things about him. He does talk about the 09 team like they were all collectively Jesus. So, I mean, I will give him that, but there's a lot of other things I don't have to congratulate him on. All right, so King of the Hill pitcher of the week. I'm gonna be honest, some slim pickings here because there wasn't tons of great pitching performances, but I'm gonna go with Luis Gil.
It's a good one.
Luis Gil again. Man, again, there wasn't. I mean, my only other notable mention would be Michael Tompkin, based on just how amped he was and going to 2 innings yesterday and everything like that. But he also kind of got hit around a little bit recently, but still pitching well. But listen, Gil's got 11 wins now. 8 strikeouts. He's kind of righted the ship. So hopefully that continues. But I'm going to say that's who my King of the Hill pitcher of the week is. Who do you got?
I picked Tommy Kahnle.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Tommy Tight Pants?
Tommy Tight. I got my tight pants. I got my tight pants on. Yeah, Tommy Kahnle, he had a good week. He has a 0 ERA. Can't get better than that. He had 4 innings pitched, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. His WHIP is .50 and his average against the 0. So he had a good week.
Good choice there. I could say it definitely was not Clay Holmes.
Definitely not Clay Holmes. Hasn't been in a while.
Until someone takes it, he's going to be the closer. So we got to hope for the best. All right. So Yankees will be welcoming in the Blue Jays this week as they do start. I believe it's their longest homestand of the season. I believe it's a 9-game homestand. Do we have pitching probables here or not really?
We do for everything except for the Yankees on Sunday, which I'm sure they're trying to figure out where how Garrett Cole is feeling. So
yeah, that's all.
So yeah, on Friday, because we have tomorrow off, which I hate. I hate a day off like that. On Friday, Kevin Gausman will be playing for the Blue Jays. He's a righty. He has a 9-8 record, 4.44 ERA. Shout out to Jay-Z. He's 117 strikeouts on the season. He'll be going up against Marcus Stroman, who's a righty with a 7-5 record, 3.64 ERA, and 83 strikeouts.
Again.
What?
Marcus Stroman again.
Yeah.
No, I
going to the game.
So I have tickets Friday night. And, I mean, I do have my Murph Guy playoff game, so I do have someone lined up to buy the tickets from me. but they even said I can hold off and let them know by noon. Because the guy lives like a few blocks away from Yankee Stadium, so he's like, whatever. But I guarantee you, Marcus Stroman pitching, when someone spills that cup of water Thursday night and Central Park is closed on Friday, it's happening. Marcus Stroman's pitching, that means I have to be.
I mean, it's as going to the game. So funny enough, I usually see Carlos Rodon, but it just so happens that I'm going to be seeing TBD, whoever that is.
It's going to be cold.
It's probably going to be cold, which I think that might be my first. It's going to be my first cold game because it's only his third. So
yeah, hasn't had so many home starts yet.
So yeah, on Saturday, Jose Barrios is pitching for the Blue Jays. He's a righty. He has a 9-8 record, 3.93 ERA, and 97 strikeouts. He'll be up against Carlos Rodon. He's a lefty with an 11-7 record, 4.34 ERA, and 129 strikeouts for the season so far. And then on Sunday, all we know is that Yariel Rodriguez is pitching for the Blue Jays. He has a 1-4 record and a 4.31 ERA with 43 strikeouts. And we'll see who he's up against. It'll be really cool if it's Garrett Cole.
Yeah, well, we'll be there Sunday.
We will be there on Sunday.
So I know it's the Giants' 100th anniversary day. Looking forward to the Eli Manning bobblehead, which is super unique because he's in the Yankees uniform with the football in hand. So that should be pretty interesting.
I saw that. That was really cool looking.
Yeah, it's one of these super unique ones. So I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm also a New York Giants fan, so that definitely helps with that. So cool stuff. All right. So that pretty much wraps it for us this week. All right. So thanks for joining us as always. If you joined us on Facebook, be sure to check out our Facebook group for the Empire 161 show. We drop lineups and highlights and all other stuff that comes across and happenings in baseball, so check us out there. Check out Pop Culture Pros and PopCulturePros.com. That's who we're presented by. If you check us out on YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. And wherever you found your audio-only podcast, we appreciate it. And you can go ahead and check us out and subscribe to Pop Culture Pros there. I do need to update this thing because X is going away. Exactly, because nobody's paying for that crap, so good luck with that. But we do have an Instagram page at the _Empire_161_show.
It made you choke.
It did. It's a lot now. So check that page out as well. Lisa manages that page. There's a lot of fun stuff going on there as well. We'll see. Since I may or may not be leaving X, we'll see. Maybe I'll jump over to Instagram or Threads. A way to get there. I don't know what the hell that's about, but yeah. So we'll see you next week. Let's go Yankees. Peace.
Woo! Bye, everybody.